Everyone, thank you for joining in for another edition of Closing the First Deal. My name is Holly. My co-host is Dr. Gavin Adams and Marty Adams. Hey, girl. Today we have the special guest, Pablo, who's joining us all the way from Virginia. Pablo is a seasoned investor, and he's going to be just sharing or talking about his first deal and what he did to get there. So with that being said, hey, Pablo, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
We're here, chilling, doing good. Thank you so much for joining us and supporting our channel. Like, we wholeheartedly appreciated you taking time out of your busy day to sit here with us. I know you have calls and stuff. So with that being said, can you elaborate on what inspired your real estate journey?
Um, I guess I mean my real estate journey was just out of pure like just wanting to do better. You know what I mean? I didn't really have anyone in my immediate family that owned a house or any property or anything like that. So I figured I'd be the first one to step up and take a shot at it.
Okay, so like what inspired you besides wanting to do better in life? Like, did you know anyone that owned families, or did you were just like, I'm gonna do this?
I mean, I know some of my aunts did own property, and I just kind of figured, you know what, I'll take the step, and it's I was renting at the time, obviously, and I was just giving money away. I looked at it as I'm just giving money away, and I'm never gonna see that money again. So put two and two together. If you own a house, at least you're building
Yeah.
equity. You can eventually make money on your own house.
That is true. That is true. So are you comfortable with sharing? Oh, sorry. Did you say something, Marty?
No,
Oh.
How did you start learning about equity?
you know what? I was thinking about it, and I just kind of intuitively kind of knew. Nobody ever told me about it or anything like that. I just kind of I just kind of knew just kind of just making sense of it. I didn't really have anyone to like guide me towards it or anything like that. I just kind of, like I said, I just kind of knew intuitively.
So you were always business savvy. Is that what I'm getting?
I think so. I think so. Yep. Yep.
So are you comfortable with sharing your financial approach for buying your first deal?
Yeah, so I was working for a construction company at the time, and eventually I convinced my partner. Well, when I was working for the it was a deck company. We were building patio rooms, and we were kind of just doing the whole job. And at the end, we were even asking the homeowner for the check to give it to my boss. So I convinced my coworker to start our own business and do it for
Okay.
ourselves. It took a little convincing because he didn't want to jump at it, but he eventually said, you know what? I think the manager kind of pissed him off a little bit. And at that point, he was like, you know what? Let's do it. So I was like, great. We started our own business and started building decks, doing fences. We eventually branched out. So he had his own thing going, and I had my own thing going. So I was making enough so I could kind of put a down payment, a deposit, along with the Acorn program, which helped us out a lot. And yeah, that's how I kind of saved enough to put my down payment down and get my first place.
So what I heard from that is that basically your old boss was basically having you guys do everything from the numbers. So you understood the business already because you had already been working in that department. So you build the confidence and the expertise to just branch off on your own, right?
Yeah, so he was having us do everything from start to finish when it came to building the project.
Okay.
As far as like the sales and the numbers, I learned that, learn as you go type of thing. So I was doing sales calls. I was just looking up, asking for advice. Obviously I didn't get many of them at first. I got better and better with the pricing and the sales calls, and eventually I got comfortable with it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then you also mentioned Acorn. What is that?
So the ACON program was a program to help people kind of get their first place. It was just a few classes that we had to take, and we kind of went through the ACON program, and I forgot exactly the specifics, but it gave us some leniency as far as the mortgage and the lending, stuff like that. So I was able to get a two-family, move into
Okay.
the move into the first floor, and I had my tenants upstairs.
So was the house move-in ready, or did you have to do renovation projects?
It was move-in ready, but also I did have to do some renovations because it wasn't looking too pretty. Um, I basically poured all the rest of my money that I've saved, ripped
Yeah.
out the kitchen, of course, ripped up the decks, put a new fence. The kitchen upstairs. I also did the kitchen upstairs, but I didn't do as good of a job as I did downstairs. But yeah, so it was moving ready. I mean, everything worked, but it was kind of just it needed a facelift. It was outdated.
Okay. So basically you save the money from the decks to be able to buy the houses, and then you use that money to renovate the property to then get rental income out of it.
Yeah, yeah. And it I mean it worked out pretty good at first.
At first, wait, what happened?
Well, we I mean we'll get to the rest of it. I know you have other questions, so
I mean, just share if
we'll
you.
get so I bought it was 2006.
Okay.
So that's when I bought, and you know what happened in 2007 and 8.
Yeah, the market
Um
crashed.
yeah, yeah. So like I said, I poured all the rest of my money into the house. The market completely crashed. My construction company went downhill because, when housing market crashes, construction doesn't do well.
Yeah,
So, all the equity was going. I was upside down. I just didn't want to lose the house, so I kept it. I had to go like take an emergency CDL course so I can get my CDL and
yeah,
pivot it, and it kind of pivoted real quick just so I don't lose the house. And got my CDL, started driving propane, and got my hazmat and all that stuff,
yeah.
and continued to make enough money in a different industry so I can not lose the house.
So it sounds like you're okay with taking risks and going into different avenues. Like you're flexible. Like you're not like tied down to one thing of maybe one way of making money, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be tied down to one thing, because if I was tied down to one thing, I would have lost the house. I would have just been, stressed. So I'd rather take the stress of pivoting to a different industry than take the stress of being broke.
Nah, I feel you.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So going back to your first deal, so what was your experience as you closed on your first deal? Like, what would you have done differently?
Well, first of all, the first thing I would have done differently is, which I didn't know about back then, is check on the market and make sure that we're not in a bubble.
Yeah,
I would have waited another year and a half in order to buy when it was low. Just like my brother actually got lucky. He wasn't ready to buy a house when I bought a house. So he was ready when the market was at the bottom,
mm,
and he was able to buy um three family and do great on it.
yeah. So I guess
So
my question is like, it's like some things we just don't know what's gonna happen. So how do you know if the market is in a bubble? Like,
I
like,
guess you can't really nail it down, but I mean at that time, if I look at it now, it was like going up, 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 up and up for a number of years. And that would be kind of scary to me, that, at that time I was just fine with it because I didn't really, But I guess you can't. I guess the answer is you can't really know exactly when or when not to buy.
That's true.
But if I would have if I would have waited, it would have worked out for me a little better. But I learned a lot.
I bet, shoot. So you ended up holding on to the house, and then eventually it did go back up in value, correct? And then you said,
I held on to that place for 16 years, and
okay, you
yeah,
got your money worth.
in order for me to, I was just being stubborn. I'm like, I'm not gonna lose out. So in order for me to almost, I mean, if I include all the money that I put into it, I mean, I pretty much made a couple dollars, but I didn't make much, compared to what I could have, could have made. But I earned it all in experience,
That's
I
good.
guess.
Experience is valuable. Like no one could take away the stuff that we learn and the knowledge. I know a lot of like millionaires that get interviewed, they always say like they could take it all away, but their knowledge will always remain with them. And you've proved it time to time again with like the pivoting that you've done and being successful with it. So have you or do you intend on purchasing additional property? And what role did your first purchase play regarding future investments or will?
I have purchased other properties, and I do plan to continue to purchase properties. Um, and the role that the role that my first property played, I think, I mean, we pretty much went through it with just checking the market, or I mean, I guess if you're just gonna be, if now my plan is just to never sell, just keep the place, refinance if I have to, but just rent it out. So I guess the market is not as important, because if I'm always going to keep it and never sell it and just collect rent, I don't, you kind of, you still have to worry about it, but you don't have to worry about it as much. So you just keep buying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So when you're looking for houses that you're just going to buy and hold, what are some of the stuff that you look for? Like, do you buy move-in ready or do you like to do flips? Like, what's your strategy there?
I would love to buy move-in ready, but it seems like you just get so much of a better deal when the house is not move-in ready. So me being able to do a lot of the work myself, or hire guys, know how to get a good price off of contractors. It just makes sense to buy a house that's kind of dilapidated a little bit, or
Yeah.
needs a lot of work, and bring it up to par, and kind of just get a deal on it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Definitely move-in ready is it's comfortable,
Oh,
but
that would be awesome. Just waiting for the just waiting for the crypto to go up.
I hear you.
Do you feel your knowledge in like construction has like saved you when it comes to like houses and stuff like that? Do you feel like that was helpful, just having that knowledge aspect?
Oh my God, so helpful.
Mm.
We've bought places where, I mean, this has happened more than a few times, where contractors come in, and they say, we could do this for $7,000 or $8,000. I'll get it done myself for like $500,
Mm.
because most of
That's
it is labor. And
wild.
yeah. So we actually jacked up a house from the foundation, that which they were trying to charge 8,000 for. And I said, you know what, I could do it myself. Because I do try to, I I I don't try to do everything myself, you know.
Mhm.
I try to, sub some stuff out, and do the things that are gonna save me the most. I do it myself.
Mhm.
So like when it comes to paint, carpet, stuff like that, I always sub that out. But yeah, just having the construction experience, it's saved me multiple times. It saves us so much money.
I
I hear.
bet.
So
Mhm.
what is your advice to a new home owner who's working with contractors? Like what should they look for or what should they say to get the best deal with a contractor?
So first of all, when I was a contractor, I would never have my client worried about losing any money at all. So I don't expect to worry about that either. I would tell them, listen, when I have all the materials at your house, which I'm gonna buy with my money, you pay me half. Once I'm done with the whole job, you pay me the rest when you're happy with everything, right? And they were never like, oh my God, is it gonna run off? Because once they gave me the half, they have their materials, that's their money right there. And the other half they pay me when it's all done. So when I hire someone, if they don't have the money to put up their own money to put up for my materials, I don't really want to work with them because they either have not been in business long enough or something's up. You know what I mean? And I also recommend, I mean, which a lot of people already know, get 3 different quotes. Don't always go with the cheapest guy. Just go with the guy that you think is gonna do the best job. You know what I mean? Don't pay them up front without them either leaving materials or doing some work. And if they demand it, keep looking because there's plenty of contractors that you could find out there that are willing to do it the way you want them to do it.
Now, that's a really good tip because I've heard so many horror stories of people getting ripped off, and I could see the way you built your business was more on like the honor scale and basically giving the person the confidence that you were going to get the job done, and because of that you were able to like build your business and be successful because people knew you for being fair. So that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's actually a
Yeah.
really nice. I hope
That
people
Yeah, it is.
that actually makes the customer trust you even that much more, and they don't fear referring you to their family and friends.
That's good. That's good. So transitioning, what does generational wealth mean to you? What role has it played in your life, and what role will it play in your future?
So generational wealth. Um, I guess it means freedom to me. Just freedom from having to kind of be at the same job that you don't want to be at all the time. Um, and I think just to like go off the, just to go off the where you asked me a little bit. Um, I hear a lot of investors that I listen to, and they say that the way they did it is just never sell anything. That's why I kind of changed my strategy a little bit. The same house that you were making money on, your kids could be making money on uh, in the future. So you could still pull money out. There's no taxes on debt, so you're gonna get money out of it without paying taxes, and you still own the property. So I kind of wish I wouldn't have sold some of my other places, only because I could have still been renting it out, and I had some pretty good tenants. I could have still been renting it out, and I could have, still pulled the money out and not pay any taxes. So yeah.
I guess we live and we learn and we improve our strategies as we get older and stuff like that. Another thing I've been learning about is basically tax saving advantages. So some people have been talking about like opening up trust. So that way, when they pass their properties from themselves to their children don't have to pay for that the or the growth that the property have and pay taxes on that. So it kind of
Yeah.
saves them. So yeah, it's something I'm still learning and still trying to
Yeah,
figure
yeah, I'm definitely still learning. I'm always learning. There's a lot of what do you call it? Life insurance ways to kind of get over on some stuff like that. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, another thing, since I know you're into the stock market, I heard that like this was way a few years ago when Beyonce and Jay-Z had bought their property, instead of them paying it outright all cash, what they ended up doing was taking out like a loan or mortgage against their stocks and stuff like that. So that
Hmm.
kind of blew my mind because it's like we can grow our stock portfolio and then take out a loan against it. And then it's like we become our own banks because we're saving up
Hmm.
the stock market and then we're taking it out. And then because it's a loan, we don't have to pay taxes because we didn't sell our stocks. And then when we pay ourselves
Exactly.
back, we could rinse and repeat. And that strategy has just like
And it's the same. I think that's the same idea with life insurance.
Yeah,
You could kind of do the same thing. Pay yourself back.
yeah,
Borrow off of your own account and
that's
pay yourself
true.
back.
That's true.
So
So
yeah, I haven't taken that step yet, but I'm learning.
I am learning. Actually, I gotta give a shout out to my sister because when I was young, she set me up with a life insurance policy. And I'm not gonna lie, I tested it out to see if that thing really works, and it does. Like you
Yeah.
can borrow against it and pay yourself back. And that it's a strategy that I have implemented with my son so that when he gets older, he could also do the same. So that is awesome. So I guess let's go back to your 15-year-old self. Like, what advice would you give your 15-year-old self?
Oh man, a lot. Uh, let's see. I mean, as far as I just wasted a lot of time. I realize now I wasted a lot of time, and people tell you all the time, you should save, you should put money in, to this and to that. So the same advice I would give my 15-year-old self is the advice I give my son. Um, I have him in the stock market already, kind of just putting his little bit of savings in there a little bit at a time. Um, uh, just just don't waste the main thing is just don't waste time because I kind of I felt like I just floundered a little bit. I didn't really have anybody like like anybody guiding me at that time. So I wish I would have because I take direction, pretty good. And so I wasted a lot of time. So that's the main thing that I would the advice that I would give myself is stop wasting time.
Stop wasting time. I will say though, like thinking back to my 15 and being in high school, I feel like a lot of adults will always tell me like, "Oh, you have plenty of time to figure it out. Don't worry. Like, just live life, enjoy it." But then you
Yeah,
get old and you're like, "Damn, if I would have started."
yeah,
True.
but I mean, that's something that like maybe our parents or their generation they weren't thinking the way we're thinking. So
Mhm.
our kids are definitely going to be a little bit better off. They're going to have a step up, more than what we did.
That's true. That's true.
You
So
know.
leaving the legacy, having them start from a different level than what we started, a higher level, I
Yeah.
guess.
And
Good
again,
start.
that doesn't mean don't have any fun. That just means have your fun, do your thing, but at the same time, start taking steps towards your financial future. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else? Did that cover it all or
I wasn't sure if Maria was gonna say something, so I tried
oh,
Oh no.
yeah.
No, no.
to let her mute a few times. I was like, wait, does she have a question? No, that was good. Thank you so much for joining us on our podcast. Like, we appreciate your time. For
No
everyone
problem.
listening, make sure that when you do go out and you're looking for contractors to do your work, that you get more than one quote. Do your research, check out reviews, ask other people who have gotten work done, and do your due diligence. So yeah, see us on next Saturday, Sunday. We drop all of our videos, so make sure you tune in. You could also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Legacy Building with AV. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.